Welcome back to Chicago Couch Scouts. This past week we had a lot of MLB news going on. We had the All-Star game happen last night. We had the draft over the weekend. There was the home run derby. Coming up, we got the trade deadline. So this episode is going to be mainly MLB focused. We're going to start it off with the draft because it's kind of go in order. Talk about some drafts we liked, some of the picks we liked, stuff like that. If you want to kick it off, go for it.
Sure. I guess just hop right into it with some drafts I like. Kind of going at this in a couple different ways. I think just raw talent, like players I like is important. I think value is important, and as well as I personally value teams that kind of lean into what they do well and stick with it. So maybe a little bit of that as well. Kind of all three of that with the Red Sox. I like what they did a lot. Added a lot of pitching. That's been a focus under Breslow. Obviously made the confusing Rafael Devers trade recently, but they were able to add 3-4 really good pitchers that I liked. So I like that a lot for them. We actually had Witherspoon mocked at 15 in our episode last week. So that was a little surprising based on consensus, but ended up happening. Great value for them. Kind of sticking to what they've been doing, taking the college faller every year. So that one really impressed me. And kind of a similar idea with the Phillies, really. Another system that was kind of starved for pitching, and they turned around and got three really high upside arms with really good stuff. There's some shoulder issues allegedly with Gage Wood that got him down to that 26th pick in the first place. Apparently he had a lot of teams in on him in the late teens, but yeah, that was another one that really jumped out to me on the pitching side, at least.
Yeah, I think obviously the draft started off with kind of a shocker. We kind of anticipated it in a way with Willits going one. It seemed like Cade Anderson was obviously I think he was minus 600 at one point to go ones. Kind of started off with two shocks actually. Bremner going two. I don't think anyone really anticipated those two going top. Well, Willits more than Bremner, but still both
Everyone
seem to
was
be
shocked except for whatever your fucking name on DraftKings is. What
good. Yeah, that was a lot of conversations between us that led to me winning some money on any other player to go one and two. So big day for my pockets. But yeah, obviously Seattle getting Cade Anderson at 3, I think is insane considering they are a pitching factory and they are going to develop that arm and he's going to probably be up. I mean, I could see it, if they're making a playoff push, I could see them putting him in the bullpen for the playoffs, something like that, kind of similar to a Garrett Crochet type of situation when he was first drafted by the Sox. But they also made some picks down the line, like getting Luke Stevenson, and I think it was a comp round pick. Really like that. Obviously, the Orioles had so many picks, it's hard not to see it as some level of success. I like
Yeah.
the
I think the Orioles and the Nationals are the two obvious standouts. Just got the most consensus top players.
yeah. I mean, how
It's
many picks?
kind of hard to not have that with the four top 37 picks the Orioles had,
Yeah,
but they did take three guys that were in the top 15 on my board, so I was very impressed with what they did for sure.
yeah. Getting Aloy that late, I think was a steal. I was
Yeah,
surprised he didn't
I
go
think
higher.
Aloy and Bodine were both steals for me. I kind of expected De Bruyne, however you pronounce it. I expected him to
Hmm.
go kind of in that range, but I did think Arizona was going to jump on him. But yeah, I thought that was a good pick. I was lower on Ike Irish, but for him to get to 19, that's really good value. But yeah, the Nationals draft made a lot of sense. Obviously, they saved a ton with Willits at 1, and they turned that into 4 second round picks, basically,
Yeah,
all the way down to the 5th round.
yeah,
The Angels was more confusing to me, I thought. They take Tyler Bremner at 2, and you would think that there would be a lot of savings there, but then there kind of wasn't an
yeah,
obvious pick that was that's who they saved the money for. They took a reliever in the 2nd round after reaching on Bremner.
yeah.
So that I don't know. That's the
And a lot
Angels.
of the other guys, like the draft analysts that I saw, were saying Bremner also has a lot of reliever risk. So obviously he was probably number one on their board. I think I saw something saying that Seattle had Bremner up there if Anderson wasn't there. So I think he was going between 2 and 3. He didn't. He was probably going 3 if he didn't go 2. But yeah, those are I mean, like you said, with Baltimore, it was kind of hard not to have like a talent overflow into their system. Obviously, it was pretty heavily college oriented. I know we were both kind of anticipating a few more preps to go in there. Obviously, DeBrun was their pick, who I'm a fan of, but they did get a lot of college impact players. So obviously, they have their first wave of prospects up right now. It hasn't been going to plan, but maybe they're thinking, let's get some more college bats up here as quick as possible. Try and rush them through. But yeah, another team that stood out to me, I thought the A's stood out.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get Jamie Arnold, he falls, and then you take Devin Taylor in the next round. Like, it's a very solid start to your draft. Obviously, getting two college players, and I think I think you were kind of putting me on preseason to them. Like, they are on the way. Like, the bats are there. They have a very good lineup. They just need the pitching. Obviously, Jamie Arnold, I think, was probably both of our top pitching prospect in this draft. If it wasn't Seth Hernandez, but yeah, I thought I keep wanting to call him Oakland, but I think the A's also had added some decent talent to their prospect pool as well.
Yeah, I think the A's are quietly on like a really incredible run in the
Mm-hmm.
draft. I call it like overthought college players, but like you get Jacob Wilson, wasn't really supposed to go that high, ends up probably should have been like a top two or three pick. You get Nick Kurtz, who wasn't supposed to go that high. I get him underslot as well, and he ends up being a top one player in that class so far. I mean, he's the only
Yeah,
one that's
so
like
far.
tearing up the major leagues.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And then this year, kind of a little different, but kind of the same as well. Like Jamie Arnold and Taylor both predicted to go higher in the preseason, kind of like Kurtz. Even Arnold was projected to go higher on draft day, and he makes it down to 11. Just a great value pick. They need pitching more than anything. He's going to be quick to the majors, high floor. Um, yeah, that was incredible for them. Him and Gage Jump kind of leading the pitching prospects in that system. They also have like a international guy too. I forgot his name. Um, that should be on the way in a couple of years. Might be Morales. Is his last name. Um,
Yeah, no,
but
they
yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
they still
Luis
need
Morales.
some more pitching, but like the lineup's almost complete. Like it's a quicker path for them than most rebuilding teams that are like going to be picking high next year.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I think Devin Taylor at like 47, 48 is like, I mean, besides Fauske, that's probably my best value pick of the draft
Yeah, 48.
compared to where I had them on my board.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him fall as far as he did. I mean, I know as at the start of the college season, I know we were seeing some Devin Taylor to the Sox hype a little bit at 10. Yeah, so like that could just be another case of like taking the good player that's falling for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
He
those are
might be
some
a trade candidate though, because like they got Soderstrom in left,
yeah,
Lawrence Butler in right, Rooker at DH, Kurtz at first. Like,
no,
I don't
that
know where he's
spot's
playing because he's not a center fielder. So and none of those guys are. Like maybe you could say Lawrence Butler in center, but like I don't think that's a good idea really at all.
and they have what's his name? Clark too, right? That he's playing in
Yeah,
center.
and Clark's been unreal in center, so if he hits at all, like that's probably his spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe White Sox destination. We still need corner bats. They need pitching.
Yeah.
Shane Smith, all on the hype there. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can, since we're both the most familiar with the Sox draft, we could jump into theirs, kind of just give our thoughts on that, since obviously that's both of our favorite teams. We follow them the closest.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's probably my favorite draft the Sox have had since I've like been following this closely. I was a little lower on Billy Carlson, but he was still in my top 20. Not thrilled about the Sox having to like rebuild a bat, rebuild a swing from scratch, but it's kind of a high floor for a prep player with the glove. Just really don't know how it's going to go with the bat, but we'll see. I'm hopeful with the new staff that they have. And then I think Fauske was just one of the best picks in the draft. He was super high on my board. You can get him at 44. I just think it's maybe the best hit and power combo of any prep player in the draft. So to get that at 44 for the deal that they seem to have gotten, it seems like 3 million is the most that they paid him. Um,
Yeah, only
it
a little
seemed,
overslot.
yeah, I mean, it seemed like he could have ended up getting quite a bit more on draft day. So I thought that was a great pick. And then Kyle Lodius and Colby Shelton. kind of really good, like high floor college picks I liked. That catcher they took, Landon Hodge, was a nice lottery ticket. Then they took another prep in the 11th round who is a little older and is probably going to spend the whole year in Arizona. So he won't even get to affiliate until he's like 21. Almost, yeah, probably almost 21.
A
So
deal,
that'll
but
be interesting. But again, a prep in the 11th round, can't complain. Upside
yeah,
play.
yeah. That was the part of the Sox draft that I think I liked the most. Just like I feel like in the past, I feel like you might see like two preps, but like I feel like they took more swings on guys they knew they could sign. Like obviously last year they had the Bailey kid or whatever that went to FSU. Like they drafted him very late, like just like in case someone didn't sign, but just like taking swings on guys they know they can sign. Like I do like the catcher that they picked up, but I also do like a lot of the pitchers that they drafted. Like I think a lot of the stuff I was reading was saying Gabe Davis is like a monster, as like one of the steals of the draft. He's coming in at 6'9". Um, I don't know what it is with the Sox and just drafting like humongous human beings to pitch for them, but yeah, he was one of my like sleeper picks based off on the board for the Sox, that on their draft board. But I was a big fan of it. I know we were both kind of hoping that Arquette or JoJo Parker would fall to 10. It was looking like it was probably going to happen for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Toronto sniped JoJo at 8. But I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I think,
Joe Doyle and the fake Jamie Arnold pick at 8.
yeah, that was tough because at that point we were so convinced that
I saw a tweet
Falsky.
saying Joe Doyle for prison after that.
I mean that you just can't do that in that situation. I don't know how you fucked that up because I don't think he that was I don't think he messed up any
Yeah,
other
that was the
pick.
only one. He was tweeting them all out early and getting them all
Yeah,
right.
but
That's just like correction. JoJo
yeah,
Parker.
I mean I was pretty nervous
Like
they
the
were gonna
Shane Gillis clip where he's like,
when he's fucking sleepwalking or whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, I mean I was pretty nervous that Eve Carlson wouldn't even make it to their pick. I thought they were gonna have to take Steel Hall, which I would have been a lot lower on because I see what you mean with Carlson. Like the swing is gonna have to change, but I think the tools are there to build a very good baseball player, and I don't know. A lot of analysts are saying that he's going to be like this 2020 guy, so we'll see. The glove obviously plays. We're on to next year. They're probably going to have a top 5 pick next year. Already looking at some shortstop prospects next year that would be very nice to have.
yeah, I'm extremely high on Grady Emerson. People are talking about Cholowski a lot, so it seems like the White Sox will be in good hands next year as long as the lottery doesn't go poorly.
Yeah, and of course we can bring LeBron to Chicago finally. That's also an option, but those are definitely the I would say I wouldn't say consensus, but I think by the time this time comes around next year, they'll be the consensus top 2 guys. Um, but yeah, so that was the draft. Some of our favorite picks slash drafts from a team. Then a little breakdown of the Sox draft. Um, the All Star game actually happened yesterday. All right. So after the draft, we had the All Star game. Kind of a pretty like I'd say like 80% of the game was pretty boring. It was 6-0 early NL, and then the AL sparked a comeback, tied it up 6-6 in the top of the ninth, and then we went to a home run swing off. First time in MLB history. Thought it was pretty cool though. It was I liked the idea of it. I thought the execution of it by the managers was kind of the disappointing factor.
I heard a rumor that like the star players were like dressed and with their families already, and that's why they didn't
Yeah,
hit at the end of the game. That's
probably.
kind of crazy. I get it because I kind of am of the opinion that MLB should make these events like convenient for the players and the front offices, but like if you're gonna have a rule like that, you're looking for a big moment to like help grow the game. Like you need Aaron Judge and Otani and Jose Ramirez and all these guys in the dugout. Because like
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad about it earlier. Like in this new age of like media where they're like it's very clip based and things like that, like short
Hmm.
content. Like if you're trying to grow baseball, nothing's gonna do that more than a three swing home run derby where you got
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Jose Ramirez, like all the superstars of the game. You have all that minute and a half, 2 minute video taking three swings each, hitting homers at
Yeah.
the end of the All Star game. Like I don't know, you can't beat that. It's much better than trying to make the fucking MLB draft a spectacle, I think. Like, I don't know. I think they missed a big opportunity, but it was definitely a cool idea. Just like you said, totally poor execution.
Yeah. I mean, like, so instead of the Judges and the Otanis and maybe the Vlad Guerreros
When
or
I saw the tweet, I was literally like, "Why the fuck is Jonathan Aranda hitting in a home run derby for the All Star game? Like, he's awesome. He's a great player, but like, what the
yeah,
fuck are you doing, dude? He has like
yeah,
11 home runs this year."
I know. It was who was it? It was him, Rooker, and Randy or Rosarena, and it's just like I don't want to see Randy or Rosarena and Jonathan Aranda taking like Rooker was
And
fine
like
because I
Judge,
yeah
Big Dumper, and Vlad or Jose Ramirez
yeah I
versus
wish
Ohtani and Soto. And Soto wasn't even fucking there. That
yeah
was ridiculous.
Schwarber was good.
Yeah,
Schwarber
Schwarber was the
should
only pick that was like legit. I feel,
Alonzo made sense
and it
too. I
showed.
thought yeah I like
Did
I
Alonso
mean
do it?
no he didn't have to because
Yeah,
they're
because
already up. But
Kyle Stowers, like, congrats.
well, I think he was. I think it was supposed to be Eugenio Suarez, but Shane Smith hit him in the wrist.
Oh
Is
yeah,
what I saw. So I don't know. But yeah, Schwarber, absolute beast. Like his last home run, he like reached across. It was like an outside, low and outside pitch. Got to one knee and pulled it out to right field. It was. I would love to see more of that
Schwarber might
implemented.
be like the face of the Hall of Very Good from our era. Like, I don't think he has a shot at the Hall of Fame, but like, between how many home runs he's gonna hit and like how clutch of a player he's been with like the playoff moments and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know. He's got a pretty good resume, but I
I
don't think
think he
he's
could.
gonna.
I think he could push for it. I think he's one of those guys that could like. All right, so he's at 314 career home runs. He is let's see, high. He's probably like 33, 32. I think if he could push 500, he's going to make it. If he hits 500, he's going to make it. But if he's at like 460, I think he's got a good chance. Let's see. He has a ring. When was he? He didn't win a ring with the Red Sox, right?
No, but he like led them to the ALCS. He was like the clutch player, like best bat on the team, really.
Yeah, like I think he
He was like a rental trade deadline acquisition and like had a run too.
yeah. I mean like I think he has a very good argument. But like that
He had the
one I
run
feel
in
like
the
that
World Series with the Cubs too, coming back from fucking knee
torn
surgery.
ACL, yeah. It's like
I don't know. He's just like raw home runs, clutch moments. Like been on a lot of good teams. The Cubs team, the Red Sox team, the Phillies team. I don't know. Just interesting career for Schwarber for sure.
was he on a Nationals team that was good too?
No, they were not good.
Was
He's
that
and
is that
then
where
they
he
traded.
got traded to the
Yeah.
Boston? Okay.
So he was on the Nationals in 2021 for like half a season. He
Okay.
was an all-star, but yeah, they were not
Yeah.
very good. I think that was
I
the
mean,
same. No, they traded Soto the year after. But yeah,
yeah. Um I still remember going to see him play in Kane County when he was in the minors with the Cubs, like absolute demon with the bat. But I don't know. I look at his career stats: 231 average, 346 on base, almost 500 slugging, 841 OPS, and total home runs is at 314. He has 30 home runs this year. Shit, I did not know that. That's a lot. I think he could push. I think he could push 500. I think that's a very real possibility. Yeah. So going back to the All Star game, obviously the swing off was very cool. Like we said, executed poorly. There should be. Obviously, you can't anticipate that that's going to go into extra innings, but obviously, you want to see the game's best competing in that type of situation. But yeah, so the NL wins on the home run off in extra innings. Kyle Schwarber is your All Star Game MVP. So if you had him at plus 4,000 to be the MVP, good on you. But yeah, so just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. Just 'cause it's something new that's never happened before. Yeah, so something I would like to see. I'm just glad the MLB is being innovative in finding ways to make the game more entertaining to watch. Obviously, because long has had the stigma of being the most boring sport to watch, and finding new ways like that will obviously bring in more viewership. So that also happened over the weekend, and coming up, today's July 16th. So in 2 weeks from tomorrow, we have the MLB trade deadline, So there are a lot of rumors swirling around right now about potential trade candidates. We're just going to talk about some teams we think could be buyers, sellers, and maybe some of the trade candidates that we could see up on new teams by July 1st. I can start it off. I can start with one of the obvious buyers, I think. I think the Cubs are probably the most likely buyer. I think it's kind of a requirement. Obviously, they've had a great first half. The Milwaukee Brewers are a game back somehow after a very slow start. So I think the Cubs definitely have to go in and potentially acquire a bullpen arm, a starter, and probably a bench bat. Are they going to re-sign Kyle Tucker? Like, is this the year they have to try and go all in for a World Series? There's a lot of question marks surrounding the Cubs right now. Obviously, they're in a good spot to make the playoffs, but nothing is guaranteed with San Diego, San Francisco, Milwaukee, and the Mets all breathing down their back. So I think the Cubs really need to be aggressive this trade deadline and go get a few arms. I like the bullpen somehow hung on. Like Chris Flexen's been good, but like at some point you got to think those players are gonna kind of revert back to the mean and be their typical average self. We'll see, but Cubs for me are the biggest need to be a buyer at this deadline.
I think they could use some stuff in the bullpen, maybe a starter, some targets that jump out to me, maybe like Duran from the Twins, Clase, if he were available. The Cubs have like a pretty good farm system. I guess I'm lower on it than like Pipeline would be, but like they should have pieces to get deals done. So yeah, I think like a power arm out of the bullpen would probably be my biggest need for them.
Yeah,
Could
I think
use a
it's
starter, but I don't
yeah.
think like a high tier starter that's going to start a playoff game for them is necessarily available. You could look at one of the guys from the Marlins like Sandy or Edward Cabrera, but I'm not sure those are ideal playoff starters at this point with Sandy kind of working his way back and Cabrera being like a breakout that's took a long time to get here in the first place.
Yeah, I think an interesting one starter wise, if you want to look for a bigger name like Joe Ryan from the Twins, I think could be very interesting.
Yeah, there's been buzz about that with the Dodgers mostly and the Red Sox.
Yeah,
But
I've
yeah, I
seen
can
the
see
Red
the
Sox
Cubs a fit
rumors.
as well. They would have to dip into the farm quite a bit to make that happen.
Hmm.
But I think it could be worth it. Like he's definitely like a top of the rotation kind of guy, at least a two, I'd say.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
think if the Braves continue to be bad, I know we talked about this a while ago, but like a sale could even be an option. Personally, some guy I haven't seen in trade rumors, but I think probably should be is Eovaldi in Texas. They're 8.5 games back. They've been so inconsistent this year. And he has like a sub 2 ERA. He would be
Yeah, I
someone
mean
I
he's
would
like
keep my.
36, 37 too, so those guys are always like maybe they trade him to a contender. Same
Hmm.
thing we were talking about Merrill Kelly, we mentioned him before this video. Like he or this podcast, he openly like wants to finish his career in Arizona, but there's been like buzz that they might just trade him to a contender, re-sign him in the offseason.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's an interesting option. Another starter that's been thrown out there is Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh. I don't know
Hmm.
if they trade him in the division, but it seems like pieces wise that would line up. Like the Cubs kind of need that starter, and Pittsburgh needs bats that the Cubs could certainly provide for them. I think like Alcantara, Triantos, kind of blocked prospects. Maybe even Mo Baller. Any of those guys could benefit Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, it's not going to happen, but there obviously is some Paul Skeens rumors going around. I think there's only a handful of teams who could really get a deal together that makes Pittsburgh even think. I don't think they'll do anything now or even in the offseason, but
Hmm.
my favorite deal that I could come up with for Paul Skeens was to Detroit. Um,
Yeah, that's what I was
to pair
thinking too.
to pair him with Scooball, and it would be Max Clark and Bryce Rayner and Joshua Brysenyo and Colt Keith all going to Pittsburgh. So like it's a haul. It's like a
Yeah,
Juan Soto type package, really.
yeah.
But
That's the
I think if Pittsburgh would do it, Detroit would do it, even
yeah,
with the price. So,
yeah. I think so too. I think
but I don't
like
think Pittsburgh would do it.
yeah, like you said, obviously, only a handful of teams have the prospect capital in order to pull off a Paul Skeens trade. I definitely think Detroit is the one. I think like Paul Skeens like fits Detroit too. I don't know if that's just because he's playing in Pittsburgh right now, but like I think that would be a very cool fit. Obviously, would not be great for us White Sox fans facing Schoolball and Skeens on the same team. But that would be my top fit for Skeens as well. I don't honestly. I don't think another team
I
could
mean, I think the
match.
Dodgers could get him if they wanted to. Like
Yeah, maybe.
the new evil empire, as
Yeah,
fucked up as it is to say, like they really probably could make a deal.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if he was available, I would hope it would be like Detroit or a team like that. That'd be
yeah,
fun. Pair him with
yeah.
Schoolball, be really fun.
That'd be crazy. Maybe like Boston. Honestly, if they wanted to trade some young pieces,
Yeah,
like
they still have the bats, so
yeah, that could make sense. Speaking of Boston, I think they're another buyer. They've been very hot pre All Star break, and they're only 3 games back now of the division at least. Let's see. I don't know what they are in the wild card. They're currently the second wild card team. Obviously, the random Devers trade hasn't hurt them as much as maybe we thought it would, but I do think they're a team that's going to look to be aggressive. I could also see them being like a buyer and a seller in some sort of capacity, like maybe like selling
yeah, there's
off
been a lot of
Giolito.
Durant buzz. So like maybe they sell him for win now kind of pieces
Yeah,
that are probably pitching.
yeah. So like I think obviously the ideal targets are pitching for them. It's kind of the same guys we've mentioned so far. I don't think I kind of do like we mentioned Joe Ryan, maybe Mitch Keller. Again, Eovaldi back in Boston would be pretty cool. Maybe like a Luis Severino on the A's. I could see that. Just trying to find teams that are definitely going to be selling off pieces that obviously have pieces that are willing that you're willing to take on. Maybe like Andrew Abbott. Could Andrew Abbott be a potential sell candidate?
I think he's got control, so I don't think
Yeah.
Cincinnati would really want to do that.
Yeah.
Probably just build around those guys in the rotation.
Yeah. So maybe like a Gallon, a Merrill Kelly, like guys
Yeah,
like that.
Gallon's one.
Yeah. Obviously, he's been pretty bad this year, but the talent is there.
Yeah, Arizona's probably just a big seller in general. Like they have Gallon, they have Merrill Kelly, they have Naylor
Suarez.
is a pending free agent, Suarez is a pending free agent.
Hmm.
So I think with their financial limitations at this point and being out of it with the Corbin Burns injury, like it could make sense for them to kind of retool the roster going into next year.
Yeah. I think, I mean, like you said, Merrill Kelly is a potential like trade and comeback type of guy. And obviously, I think there's going to be a lot of demand for pitching this trade deadline. Like, I think guys like smaller level, like lower level guys, like Adrian Hauser, for an example, for the Sox, like he'll be gone. Obviously, the hope was like Aaron Savali would be gone. Like those level of guys will kind of on the same tier as Merrill Kelly will have a lot of demand this trade deadline. So guys who have struggled but have shown they're very good in the past, like Gallon and Alcantara, there's going to be a lot of demand for those type of guys as well.
Obviously, there's Luis Robert. I don't know what a return would look like for him, but there has to be some level of market with how he could hit left-handed pitching and how he could play center field.
Hmm.
And he's been stealing bases. I mean, I think the Phillies like continues to be a prime option. Some other teams as well, but I do think
Mets,
he'll be moved, and that's kind of like an interesting upside option because a change of scenery like could be big for him.
I agree. Would hope for him to find it again because he's a very exciting player to have in the game when he's on.
Yeah, I hope he figures it out too. It's gonna suck as a Sox fan because everybody's gonna bitch and complain when he starts doing good somewhere else. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen in Chicago at this point.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Last piece of the previous core finally gonna be gone. Kind of wipe your hands clean of that slate, but
Yeah,
I think another guy that will probably have a lot of demands and probably could get a nice little package because he was an all star this year is Ryan O'Hearn. Obviously, Baltimore is probably out of it at this point. They're almost 12 games back. Very disappointing year for them, but obviously, you just drafted 3 college bats with your first 3 picks. You retool for next year. You come back. Who knows what happens? So
yeah.
I
I
think
don't
that's
think
a
they'll be extending him, and left-handed hitting is always valuable to contenders. And O'Hearn can play first and both corners, so I think he should be a pretty attractive target for a bunch of different teams.
yeah. So kind of identified a few buyers and sellers. Like I think the Sox will be big sellers. I think
Sox, Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
Hopefully
Diamondbacks.
move some pieces, try to maybe get some pitching back in there.
Potential, maybe like a Cleveland. They're 12 games
Yeah,
back. Maybe a
yeah.
retool.
Cleveland and Minnesota seem like interesting retool options where they could like sell out some of their best players, but like kind of keep the same trajectory. But yeah, because like the way I see it, like I don't think Cleveland or Minnesota is winning a World Series as constructed.
Hmm.
So I mean, like I think you could trade a Joe Ryan or a Duran or a Stephen Kwan or a Clase, and like you're kind of in the same spot, and you really improve your farm system and kind of start building for 2027 instead of right now.
Yeah,
So
I
I think that
agree.
could be valuable for those teams that are kind of in it, but not really in it for the World Series title right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is going to be a pretty active trade deadline. So I'm excited for that. Obviously, as fans of a rebuilding team,
Yeah, it's always exciting this time.
yeah,
Draft and trade deadline. One final buyer I think that's important is Seattle because the Big Dumpers having a great year.
the pitching.
And Jerry Dipoto, formerly known as Trader Jerry, has been semi gun shy recently. Like he did make the Randy trade, but it's been a little different for him this last like year and a half. So I'd
I'm
like
trying
to
to
get.
think what they could need.
They got a full rotation. They have a better lineup than last year, but I think it's just bats for them. Like
Yeah,
any contender could use some more power arms in the bullpen, but their bullpen's
yeah.
solid, their rotation's solid. I think like they just need some impact in that lineup. Get some guys that hit around Big Dumper and Randy and Rodriguez,
Would they
who has
bring Suarez back?
yeah, I think both the Arizona targets are pretty heavily rumored for them, Naylor
Okay.
and Suarez. So I think both of those would make sense.
Yeah, I would like to see Naylor on Seattle. I think he'd be nice in that lineup. I think even Luis Robert could be an option there, just for
They did sign Robles to that extension, so that could be a little weird, but
yeah,
there is flexibility in the Robert contract. Like if you get the White Sox to pay for the rest of this year, it's kind of like you have to pay him $2 million to go away if you don't want to give him
hmm,
20 million for 1 year. So
yeah. It's not
it's
bad, but
not as bad of a contract as people say if the White Sox will cover some
yeah,
of this year.
which they're rumored to be willing to do. So
Yeah,
let's see if they
with,
can get a
with no payroll. Like if they're not willing to eat some money to increase the return, that would be really disappointing.
yeah. But who
Like
knows with
not
Jerry?
not giving the QO to Rodon level, terrible process.
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you one more for the NL that I think could be a big buyer is the Mets. They're half a game back. They're right in for the division. Obviously, the NL wild card's going to be a gauntlet. Let's see. The Mets are currently 2.5 games up on the second wild card spot. But obviously, San Francisco, St. Louis, even Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. But yeah, so I think the Mets, obviously, with Cohen.
Cincinnati's a buyer. That's a Luis destination. Cincinnati's got a pretty good farm system.
And I feel like he could platoon in that outfield as well. They got a lot
Yeah,
of
they can.
lefties.
Yeah, they can throw Will Benson out there.
Yeah, yeah,
Stick
or
his bat in the corner and put someone else in center. Yeah, I see it.
yeah. I mean, that would be nice. I like their farm system a lot more than kind of the consensus thought processes, like with pipeline and stuff. Because I feel like they only have like three top 100s on pipeline, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that, but obviously you have like you're not getting the guys like Cam Collier like we hoped they would get last off season, but there are some interesting options there. But yeah, like I said, should be an exciting trade deadline. Do you have anything else or no? All right, cool. Should be an exciting trade deadline. Looking forward to it. Obviously, you got to keep the passing notifications on Twitter. But yeah, I think that's all we got for today. Should be
Not
back.
25 years old, Jeff Passan.
Yeah,
I'll point that out. He is
like
40 with
50. Yeah,
he's
with a
40 with children nearly our age.
yeah with the kid going to college next year. um, yeah, should be back next week. Kind of hitting a slow point in the sports season. We got NFL training camp starting up soon. Obviously, MLB will continue on, but we'll figure out stuff to talk about for next week. But thanks for watching, guys. Go follow us on Twitter and TikTok. Putting a lot on TikTok. Need to start posting more on the Twitter. We'll be doing that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Tune in next time.